Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rwagnation League, for the first time ever actually, the F2004 Grand Prix here in China. We wanted to celebrate Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix this weekend. Obviously, they are at a brand new circuit of Mugello. I say brand new, it's brand new in that it hasn't been there for a very long time, but it has come back, and obviously Mugello isn't in the game, and we didn't want to go at Monza. We decided we were going to stick with China anyway. And why not? You know, it's a fantastic circuit when it comes to racing. It always provides us drama and entertainment, and it brings me great pleasure to not only commentate this for you myself, but also to introduce to you my co-commentator, Safso. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing on this fine evening?
Oh, I mean, listen to these engines. Let's just say that, shall we? I mean, look. These cars are fantastic. They are so fast, especially in a straight line. The toe on these cars is even bigger. You know, China. This is going to be dramatic, to say the least. We are on board with Max Thornton, who's actually contending with around about 3 or 4 people who are currently fighting for this pole position. Remember, this is going to be quite crucial for them. They're going to want to get the pole position when it comes into this Grand Prix. It is going to be a single 25% race, so bear that in mind.
Yeah, but of course, unlike the F2 races, I believe that's a full 25% race. And actually, I'm not sure how long the dry tyres last on the classic cars. This is the thing, there's a lot of unknown factors here, so we're going to have to see, first of all, whether a pit stop is necessary, and second of all, how warm those tyres are going to be at the end if they don't have to, and who can manage those tyres at the end.
Now, as rightly pointed out in the chat by Usually, these cars are so old, they don't even have a halo. So, you know, if they do get flipped upside down. Luckily, we're in the virtual world, so no one will be murdered. Maybe later if somebody takes someone else out, we'll see. But we do have some of the old names in here. I'm looking specifically at Vegas, but relevant to that, here we come to the line. Beaker managed to snatch away pole position from Max Thorne by 1/100th of a second exactly. And then Nick Sanders just a tiny bit behind them by 3/10. Then JC in P4, Vegas P5, Horn Badger P6. We've got the Rwagnation admin team holding down the front with a Max and Nick Sander in there as well. And then you have Raven Duck at the back.
Of course, just have to mention... Okay, by the way, this guy's at the back. Ignore everyone else. This guy's at the back.
It's a swift kick to the doodah. But here's how we look then at the end of that. So Beaker P1, like we said, and then Max on right on the back of him with Nick Sander just there too. JC is quite considerably further back, 1.5 seconds away from Beaker in P4, with Vegas there in P5, Horn Badger P6, Marquez P7, Dennis P8, Carl P9, Hardy F1 in P10, with Azia getting best of the rest. Ravenduck P12, Matt P13, Burrito Bandito 14, Aviator 15th, Piloto Paya 16th, Tiger Jr. 17th, and Duxie B has joined us late. He will join us in 18th. It's something to note that the last 3 that actually got to do a lap on the surface, on the actual track, did in fact DQ. But I've been told you're a bit quiet, and I believe that is more my fault. So let me just turn my put up a touch. Speak to me.
Hello. Hi. Welcome. We're at China. I don't know how long I'm supposed to be speaking for.
That's fine. You're good.
Okay.
Gucci.
Thank
you. So the reason, I know that we actually fixed this last week, but the reason why we're going to tweak it again this week is because I got a new headset, and it's played havoc with absolutely everything.
Oh, no.
Oh, down. Oh, apparently you're too loud.
Oh.
It's even worse. I just made them ear-piercingly loud now. All right, talk to me.
Hello. How you do?
Nailed it. Nailed it. Apologies there, guys and girls. Obviously, we're doing the 24-hour race right before this. I didn't actually get a chance to do any sort of sound checks or any sort of prerequisite checks that I normally do, because I have to give you fine people the raw entertainment that you all deserve. Now, something else that's going to be a real problem here for us commentators is they're all driving the exact same car. So knowing who is actually sending on who is going to be a little bit harder than we normally expect. On top of that, on the radar, they are all white dots. So to jump to any of them is going to be a little bit of a problem. So you may have to bear with us. Commentary here is going to be a bit of a nightmare to start with, but I'm going to ask you, because I have to. I need your top 3 prediction, please.
Well, I already know who I'm going for the win. I'm going for Beaker for the win. That is certain for me. For second, I'm actually going to say Max is going to hold position in second. But with third, I reckon I'm going to go with the dark horse. I'm going to go with Vegas for P3.
All right. Well, I'm actually I'm going to go on a whim here. I'm going to go with Time Worm's little impression. He says Ferrari are going to win, and they're going to come second and third. So I think that's pretty accurate.
I'd say that's a pretty good shout.
But no, in all seriousness, in P1, yeah, I think you're right. Beaker's probably got this. The only thing I'm worried about is the two people that he struggles to avoid contact with are right behind him in second and third. So whether or not he is able to actually keep himself out of trouble, whether or not he can actually just take it around the circuit and have a good run on it is one thing, but whether he can keep them behind him is another. And again, this is a circuit where the tow is astronomical with just how strong it is. So Beaker P1, JC P2, Vegas P3.
Okay, so we've both got Beaker and Vegas in P3. It's just that P2 slot that we need to watch out for then.
Yep, indeed. But it is going to be like Beaker, like we said, who did get pole position. He's going to be starting us off on this Grand Prix as we're waiting for him to get into his grid box along with all the remaining drivers that have done this formation lap. And for the first time, especially in F1 2020, we're going to be seeing the F2004 cars around the Chinese circuit. This is always a blessing to see these cars in action. To see him on a circuit as strong as this and as exciting as this can only mean one thing. This is going to be fantastic. But here we are with the lights on then. Carl's going to drive through already for a jump start. We're actually away pretty quickly this time. Carl's obviously going to be shooting down the inside in towards turn one. Lots of cars. Working out who's where and how is going to be a bit difficult. So we're going to be... Oh, there's already a rotation. Max Thorne gets rotated. I think that was Nick Sana that he got clipped on by there. But that has sent Max right the way to the back end. And for once, I actually don't think that was his fault whatsoever. I think he's just been caught up in a scenario that he wants to avoid. A 5-second penalty for Aviator for a severe collision with Matt. And that is not going to be going well for him. Now, I think we have a full course yellow, but I don't see a safety car anywhere.
No, because it's a virtual safety car, not a full one.
I also don't have the box in the top left telling me if it's a virtual or not.
Yeah, that wouldn't help you, would it? It is currently a virtual safety car. And also, I was actually on board with Nick Sana for that start. It was actually Beaker that Max collided with, and as you said, I think it was just how turn one is a they cross pass, and unfortunately Max came out worse there, now down in 13th place.
Oh, that's not good. That is bad. But Carl obviously still leading this. We got JC and Nixana. Down the inside is JC. Nixana, sorry. And he's coming around now the outside onto the long right-hander where the grip is going to be so hard to keep here. Nixana's looking for an inside line of both of them. This is going to be a severe drag race. It looks like Beaker's the one who's looked out. He is already getting towed out by either one. Carl is going to gain more because of that extra tow. I think Beaker opted for that to happen, knowing that Carl has to come into the pits as Carl's broken really early. And he smashed somebody into the wall. Is that Dennis? No, who is that in the wall?
Well, Dennis did hit the wall because of Carl's early braking. He initially got some damage, which was bad enough, but then obviously the momentum from that sudden stop just launched him into the wall. I don't know if that's what you saw or something else. But that is Dennis's race, I'm pretty sure, over, unless there is a full safety car later down the line.
Well, we'll ponder on that one in a little while. JC has had a good start. He's actually kept himself in the running for P2 here. A little bit of lag seems to be happening here in the server as Beaker has lagged backwards, apparently, or maybe it's just the... Yeah, we're definitely having lobby issues. We've got a few people that are ghosting, but they've now fixed themselves again. Beaker is definitely still race leader. Nixana is in P2 with just chilling in P3. Vegas in P4. And Carl and Duxby, they've been into the pits and they're working when they're back around again.
Yeah, and I think it's slowly starting to fix itself. It seems to be a much more normal order now. So Beaker, yep, as you said, in the net lead. A few people struggling a bit into the left-hander before going onto that long back straight, so I wonder if that's going to be an opportunity for overtaking. Meanwhile, Vegas, our man for P3, is in the slipstream a little bit. Obviously not overly strong. basically going to have to wait until next lap for DRS. No, wait, no, sorry. There isn't a DRS. That's another thing.
Yeah.
These guys won't have DRS when they're within a second of each other.
Oh, Vegas getting a little bit caught out there by the slow speed that just chilling hard into that. Marquez and Horn Badger coming into it as well. Aviator was having a look down the inside of Marquez if he could get one. I think Max Thorne is also trying to see it as Aviator is going around the outside here in the final corner. He's got the run done. That is a position game for him. Up now to P6. Yes, we are on lap 3. The timings will start to show correctly for us, which is fantastic. But you can also see then, here comes Max Thorne. He's actually about to go around the outside of Aviator. Of Marquez, sorry, not Aviator. Badger's gone off the circuit. Max has lost the rear a little bit, but he's caught it. He's back under control. And off. Is he going to go down the inside of Horn Badger? I think he's going to try it. That was a very close one, but he's made that one work. And Horn Badger and Marquez now having a little bit of drag race to the run.
Yeah, Max is capitalizing on Badger having a bit of a poor exit. Marquez has gone very deep into the corner. The Badger not quite getting the exit. But actually, having said that, Marquez is bogged down after that. And Badger's trying to go around the outside. Marquez still there, a little bit of bang on the wheels. But no one's spun around this time. Badger stays ahead for now. Marquez might... Oh, and he's dived it down the inside on the first left-hander. Is he going to be able to keep that? I think he can. Badger just too compromised on the exit. And look who they've got on the back of them. It's someone who's very strong in the F2 cars. Seems to be struggling a little bit more in these F2004 cars. Piloto Paya.
Yeah, he's here. He's definitely making his presence known. But one thing we've always said about Piloto Paya is he's always struggled when it's come to working through the pack. He obviously didn't quite have a qualifying that he normally has. And he's now actually found himself in a battle here with Horn Badger. This is, again, another drag race up towards the hard hairpin. This should favour Badger more than anybody else because he has the toe. But, oh, he had to be backed out there. He didn't feel ballsy enough to go for a big lunge down the inside. I think that is definitely the right call considering where we started earlier on the straight. Nick Sarna getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's a mistake made from Badger. Just left it a bit too late to turn in, and that's cost him. But Marquez now looking for Piloto Paya potentially. Again, remember, no DRS in these cars. We've got a couple of cars actually parked on the circuit around the long snaily section. I think that's Tiger Jr. and Duxie B. I could be wrong. Might even be Burrito Bandita.
It was Burrito and Duxie, yeah. Burrito is just losing the car left, right, center. I'm not sure his race is going to be recoverable. He's got significant damage. He's was in the wrong direction for a long time. Yeah. Meanwhile, sorry, Grant.
There is safety cars, so that's something to bear in mind that they are available here. Is that? Who is that? It's Tiger Jr. He's had a spin coming through the final corner, and now Duxie B will go on through and up into P16. So, yeah, there is still a chance a safety car could be called. We are seeing a lot of spins. These cars are pretty awkward to drive, to say the least. I don't know what difference it's made since the last game, but they just seem to be that much more of a handful than previously. Dennis Fires all over Matt. Matt's made a mistake. Dennis Fires is through up to P13. He's not yet into the points positions. Remember, there is no second part to this Grand Prix. This is just purely a one Grand Prix, and that will be it.
Yep, and Aviator currently in the switching on Vegas herring down to the hairpin. Vegas goes defensive. Will that be enough? Aviator will have the racing line. A little bit of contact on the exit. That might just give Vegas the chance he needs to stay ahead for now. Yes, it is, but Aviator is still right behind. A little wide on the entry, though, so that's going to really compromise, and that's surely Vegas staying ahead for now, at least. Meanwhile, Horn Badger and Marquez still staying pretty close, as Raven Duck and Azir also having a bit of a tussle at the last corner. Those two are going to have a drag race down into turn 1. Azir having a bit of a better overspeed, heading down into turn 1. Raven Duck round the outside, a little bit of a contact nearly, as Azir gets on the curb. They're going side by side. Amazing how they haven't taken each other out, and they've kept it clean so far. Raven Duck, I can't remember if he was ahead or behind.
He's behind.
Before the last corner. And, well, there we go. Raven Duck has got past in that case. Oh, but no, Azir's coming back. He's going around the outside. Oh, but Raven Duck really trying to defend that with the late braking. That's compromised on the exit. Now Azir on the inside. Oh, and Raven Duck's gone round.
And it's, that was so unfortunate. I think a safety car has been called, is that? Or is it virtual?
Nothing has come up on my end.
Full yellow flag on the full circuit. Raven Duck did have a... basically, he lost the rear, went into the side of Azir, which then sent him off the circuit. And then there he went. It is looking to me like we've got a yellow flag for the full course.
It looks like a virtual safety car because I can't see a full one anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the actual safety car come out, but I also don't have any of the warnings on the left-hand side, so I have no idea.
Yeah, the virtual or full safety car thing hasn't come up for me either, so don't really know what's going on. As Aviator's made an overtake on Vegas.
Yeah, unintentionally.
Yeah, obviously. And he's given that place back.
And Rwagnation is pretty upset, and I can understand why, because he did very, very, very mildly touch the wall. Like, he slid into it and he went boop, and the wheel just fell off. But we are back racing again. Vegas is coming under fire from Aviator, who's decided to back out again, and we have another yellow flag again. Another full call. That was close. Aviator very nearly ran into it. Now we have a green flag, and now look, Aviator's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. So he's going to have to bring himself into the pits, and that's pretty much taking him out of the running for a podium now.
Yeah, and actually something else to note, I don't know if you spotted it, Nick San actually came into the pits there. He's now down to 11th. So I don't know if that was, whether the game told him to pit though, I don't know of any kind of that in the game. But that's pretty much taking him out of the running. And now, look at that top 3. I believe that is your top 3 prediction right now.
Yep, I'm pretty sure I nailed it. But no, yeah. In terms of actual pitting, they don't have a mandatory pit stop. That is purely down to them if they want to. You know, they can if they want to. They don't have to. Oh, Max Thorn getting a bit wide there. Ran over the exit curb and a bit more. Locks up the car as well, coming into the awkward turn 11 into 12. Now he needs to make sure the exit's clean. So does Aviator, because Aviator is very close to the back of Vegas. The gap needs to be around about 4.5 tenths to 5 tenths if he wants to pull off a move on Vegas. There is no DRS, remember, but the tow is tremendous, as you can see. The time on the left-hand side is dropping like crazy. Vegas realizes that and goes defensive. If he is looking to brake very late, he locks up too much because of the fact that he broke so late. He is going to have to bring himself into the pits, remember. He does have a speeding under the safety car warning, and he does have a drive-through penalty to serve, which is decided right now is the best time to do that.
Yep, and that of course releases Max Thorn, who was down in 13th, remember, is already made it back to 4th. So a very good recovery drive from him, and now he can try and get back into that top 3, just over a second behind Vegas. It's still a very real possibility for him.
Absolutely. Okay, so Dirksby has left. That looks like it's a disconnection that he's had, or a game crash, one or the other. Beaker is pretty much the only person on the circuit who, other than that first incident into turn 1 with Max Thorn, has actually had a pretty easy race. He's not really had any problems. We've had a couple of virtual safety cars, that's for sure, and he's made it work every single time. Just chilling, who, in all honesty, hasn't actually touched the game in quite a long time. The last time he touched the game was right at the beginning of F1 2020's release, and then after that, he then moved over to continue and see what he could do. Right now, he's bringing it back, and he's 5.5 away from Beaker with Vegas in tow, who's closing in. Again, there is no DRS, it's just the 1 second margin, which is where the tow starts to activate. So fantastic for Vegas, but 8 tenths back means he will not be going for a send on JC. This is just purely a keep yourself as close as you can, and we'll see where we go.
Yep, and look at Max Thorn behind Vegas is the one going defensive again. He thought he was safe from Aviator. He is from Aviator, but not from Max. He's right alongside now. Max having a good exit. Coming very close to contact. They're going to go side by side through the last corner. Will any of them back out? I think Max had to back out at least a little bit. Now, will he have a powerful enough slipstream to try and come alongside into the first corner? Vegas goes defensive again. I'm pretty sure that's a good idea. Max tries to go all the way around the outside, though. If he can pull this off, then that would be a very big help with a few people getting penalties. Meanwhile, a little bit of contact, rear to front, but no one's gone around again, which Max will be very happy about. And he moves up into 3rd place, hunting after Just Chillin'.
Yeah, Vegas is in a bit of a weird situation now. Obviously, he wants to get that podium. He also needs to try and stay with Max Thorn. He knows, though, that JC is struggling on the rear end of this car. As we've watched a second ago, he was very much doing a drift for a second. The one thing, though, that is going fantastic is Beaker's race. 6 seconds he has now pulled on everyone behind. He's about to pass Tiger Jr., that was, sorry, the back marker. And that's allowed him through. We do have a bit of a squabble going on for Marquez and Azir. Badger's in this as well. He's half a second away from Marquez. But Marquez, oh, Azir, that was a big tank slapper now. Marquez is going to be able to close in quite nicely. That was Burrito Bandito, who's just gone off into the wall on the left-hand side. He has retired from the session. That is Horn Badger looking for an inside on Marquez. Marquez actually had a mistake because of the pressure that Badger has been applying. This should now Badger to get a good exit through this long sweeper right-hander, get the foot down, and away he goes. He gets so much better run there than what Marquez has got. And yeah, just chilling, getting a penalty.
That was beautiful from Horn Badger because throughout the entire section for the braking zone, he actually scared Marquez a bit into going deep on the brakes, and then he was so patient on the throttle. But now look at Marquez, he's struck back on the inside, proving just how powerful the slipstream is on that back straight. Max Thorn sets the fastest lap as Issa's half a second behind, just chilling, as this battle will most likely continue between Marquez and Horn Badger, but Marquez has just got a penalty. And speaking of penalties, up front, Just Chillin' does have a penalty. Vegas and Max do not. So all Vegas does to keep this podium is stay within 3 seconds of JC, and he should be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, he also needs to keep himself under check as well. He is prone to getting these penalties from all the rest I've seen him do. He's a fast driver, that's for sure. Consistency is the bit that lets him down. If you could bring that in, yeah, even more better for him. But I do actually just want to point out just how big-brained Mr. Horn Badger is. Like, he has outsmarted Marquez on a number of occasions, forcing him into mistakes, causing him to get penalties because of how much pressure he's applying onto him. Yes, he did get outbraked, if you like, into the final hairpin, but realistically, the upper hand has been played here for Badger.
Yeah, he's through that tussling. Now Marquez is 2.5 seconds back from Azir. He'll have no defense from Badger if Badger stays behind this time and keeps the move for later on. Meanwhile, Max has just got past JC for second place. But JC's actually fought back. He's gone down the inside, but now Max will have the better exit. And JC's going to try and stay alongside on the left-hand side. Oh, he was just trying to keep where he wouldn't have gone. I think he just backed out at the last moment. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Someone's gone around on the entry to the long back hander. And as we go back to the Marquez and Horn Badger fight, Marquez stays ahead, but Horn Badger's had a very good exit, trying to go around the outside. Oh, bit of contact. Marquez nearly goes round. And Horn Badger is now ahead on the main straight for, I believe, the first time this race.
Yeah, and all this fighting that's going on between P2 and P3 is really not helping their battle to try and close in on P1. We know that Beaker's very far up the field. In fact, it's pretty much a point where it's not going to happen now. They've just settled in for P2. They know that they're going to try and take this one to the very end. JC is fired up, to say the least. He has got the 3-second time penalty that you said, and he is going to drop down as expected. Nick Sana has brought himself into the pits and retired from the session.
Yeah, and I think that was after a bit of a mistake he made earlier where he just dive bombed it from very far back. He was the one who got spun around, I believe, a little bit of damage as well. And yeah, it's just his eagerness, to say the least, to try and have an overtake when maybe patience is more suitable has actually cost him some points here today.
Marquez and Horn Badger. Marquez was very close to Horn Badger's back end there. He very nearly gave him a bit of a pit maneuver. Dennis has got a 3-second time penalty to add to his already existing problems. JC opting not to go in there for Beaker. Badger now has been passed by Marquez, but has a much better run here. Obviously, again, there is no DRS. This is purely a drag race right down to the hairpin. We saw last time Marquez was much later on the brakes than Badger. This time it's going to be a little bit different. Badger outbrakes himself just a touch. Marquez goes deep and goes into the side of Horn Badger under the rotation. It's a bit on the limit there in my opinion, but this is a fantastic battle. Badger, for somebody who doesn't race that often, either he's been sweating it and putting a lot of time into it, or he's just naturally talented because he is driving so well today.
Yeah, I'd actually go towards an actually talented. Some of the things, the racing lines and stuff he's been doing, Marquez, is just, you know, the sort of things you see in old school karting races between those who are now sort of fighting for championships in real life F1. You know, just sort of make them go for the different line and, oh, I'm going to get the cutback. So, yeah, I think if he really sweated this game, he could really do some good things in some races.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, there is a third wheel. Oh, Badger made a bit of a mistake there. That was almost Aviator running into the back of him. Good awareness there from Aviator to avoid that collision. But look up at P2 and P3, because Just Chillin' is well within that tow range of Max Thorn here. Max is going as defensive as he can to the inside because he wants to protect the braking zone for the final hairpin. The drag is not working too well for JC. Clearly the wings have been turned down on Max Thorn's car. Massive lockup on both of them. But JC might get the cutback. He's got a brilliant exit, but he's just lost the rear a tiny bit. That's allowed Max Thorn to keep P2. JC, sorry, will fall back just a touch. And we're going to go back down now to this battle for P7. P6, effectively. Marquez is there. Asia is there. He's also looking for Marquez. This is a very ambitious move, Asia. No. Oh, how they didn't have contact, I do not know. But Aviator down the inside of both of them. He might actually get himself up into P6. He has. Aviator and Asia, they've rotated. Oh, there's been a bit of contact as well. I think that's Dennis getting caught up in it. I think he's had a wing damage. Or is it the car of Horn Badger? One of them has damage, that's for sure. It's Dennis.
It's Dennis. Yeah, Dennis is very unfortunate that he's just caught up to this battle and he's already got damage, so unfortunate for him. So he's not looking overly great to at least gain in the corners. Who knows on the straights? Maybe that'll give him a bit of 1 or 2 miles per hour extra on the top speed front. But actually, he's got a good toe on Marquez here. Will he go for it? He goes to the inside. That's very late on the brakes.
I mean, that was suicide, wasn't it, really? That was either murder or suicide. It's one or the other. Luckily, nobody gets damaged, but that was so risky. Marquez loses 2 places as a result. If this was being stewarded, I can tell you now, Dennis would have got himself a penalty, that's for sure. But these are for fun, remember? We're not meant to be taking them as serious as these guys will be, for sure. JC again, this time on Max Thorn. He's a bit closer than he was before. He's going to try and take the outside line. We saw the cutback almost work for him last time. He's going to try the exact same thing again, or is he? He's decided maybe not, as Beaker has started his second to last lap. 9.7 seconds up the field. JC running out wide. That 3-second time penalty will help Vegas with his battle for a podium. And my 1-2-3 is going to be slightly affected by Max Thorn. Is this your 1-2-3?
After JC gets his penalty applied, it will be my 1-2-3 because I predicted Beaker, Max, and Vegas. Wow. So, Vegas, please don't get a penalty.
Yeah, please don't get a penalty. I mean, he also has to keep himself in that range, which he's still on track to do that. That is almost a guarantee.
Oh, actually, sorry, Just Chillin' has 2 penalties now, and Vegas hasn't got a single warning so far, with Max having 3 warnings. I've seen one of them as a collision warning. So, Just Chillin' is pretty much out of the fight for a podium at the moment, unless Vegas just starts getting every corner in existence.
Yeah. So I have been informed, we've all decided as well, that due to the timing of when this finishes, we are going to be doing a 5-lap sprint race in the same cars on the same circuit. Kind of like the sprint race we do in the F2s, but we're doing it in the F2004s. So, fantastic news. That's good news for all around. But we are going to be watching the tyre degradation here too. I'm told from Raven Duck that the tyre degradation is about 70%, and this might be favouring Just Chillin'. Here he comes then round the outside for the hairpin again. They've been scrapping like this non-stop. Max Thorn locks up on the entrance to that corner, and he's also lost the rear on the exit, but JC took it far too calmly, and that has not helped him with his battle for Max Thorn's P2. We are now on the final lap as we come up to the start-finish straight, and Vegas outside of the 3-second margin that JC has.
Yeah, but of course, if JC has 2 3-second penalties, then Vegas has another 3 seconds to spare. You can't take it too chill, as Just Chillin' is attacking Max at the moment, and you're getting a bit of a tank slap on the exit, so has to stay behind for now. He's going to have to save it for the back straight, but as you've mentioned, that toe is not working very well for him on the back straight, so surely he must have more downforce than Max Thorn. Otherwise, that wouldn't really make sense. But this is going to be, hopefully, a very enticing last lap.
I think Vegas likes a puncher. Does he? No. He is very much driving like he has one. He's struggling, that's for sure. That time is dropping away. 3.7 is the time now. That is Max Thorn and JC. There's a chance here that one of these two, if not both, might get a puncture. If that does happen, my best case scenario is Max Thorn gets a puncture, JC secures P2 because he takes it to the end. The gap is already over 3 seconds and Vegas still secures P4. There is still a chance that this could happen coming into the final hairpin. Beaker miles up the road, already through the hairpin, coming into the final corner in just a second. We have Max Thorn in P2. Is he going to be able to keep his car alive? Another lockup on the right-hand side there. No puncture for him just yet. Come on, there's still hope. There's still a dream. No, it looks like
No.
then it's going to be your prediction that comes true. Max Thornton will come on P2. JC will make it for P3 and hold on to it as Vegas jumps him.
Thank you very much.
Vegas jumped him on penalties. He must have had a second that we didn't see, which has now put Vegas up to P3 and on the podium.
Well, I did say twice he has 2 penalties.
Oh, I'm going deaf, okay?
Okay.
But remember, nobody go anywhere because we are going to be doing another 5-lap sprint race after this, just to bridge the time a little bit closer. It should take us very nicely to a very quick round out for F1 then. So bear that in mind. But still, Vegas getting that podium position is fantastic. I am so pleased. Even if you did get the 100% prediction like that, that's whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. But to get it where he gets himself on the podium still is absolutely fantastic. So good stuff from Vegas. Good stuff from Max Thorne. We also have to give him a little bit of credit. A lot of credit. He did get rotated by our race winner through turn 1. Put him all the way back in P13, and he drove like a champion to bring himself back up to the front and secure P2. Bika was just that bit too far ahead and that bit faster, actually. Very well deserved. Champagne spray down for him. So we'll be seeing that in a second. Let's get the rundown for you in just a second. And it looks as this. Bika, P1. Very well deserved by him. He smashed it on the circuit today. I think he also got fastest lap. So if there was a point for fastest lap in these F2004s, he would have also got that too. Max Thorne in P2. Vegas in P3. JC with 2 penalties knocks himself down to P4 despite finishing across the line in physical P3. Piloto Pyatt P5. Horn Badger P6. And he drove like a champion, to say the least. Aviator P7, Dennis P8, Marquez P9 with Azia getting the final point position and Hardy getting best of the rest. Carl in P12, Dr. B P13, Matt P14, Nixana P15, Burrito Bandito in P16, Raven Duck and Tiger Jr. also in 17th and 18th place. The bottom 4 didn't get to finish. We saw Raven Duck's very mild tap with the wall and that some reason broke his front right wheel off. Now, we will be moving, like I say, into a 5-lap race here that will break us down closer to the F1 race, so that you don't have to sit here for another 24 minutes or so before we start the hype video. So stay here, don't go anywhere. We are going to be going straight into the 5-lap race in just a uno momento. Some people have already left because we hadn't actually pre-warned them that this was going to happen. Just some of them have actually stuck here and sat around. So let's get it going. We're going to have a quick sip of my drink before we... quick invite for Dennis. There he is.
And one of the people who has left is Beaker, so I don't know if he'll be coming back for this 5-lapper.
I'll re-invite him. He should be.
Well, we're starting in 3 seconds. So, yeah, he's in.
Okay.
But he didn't pick his car in time. He's in the 2000 Ferrari.
Well, I mean, look, he needed nerfing anyway, let's be honest. He was already pretty damn fast, so putting him in the F2000 is only just going to sort of level him out with everyone else. Yeah. And we'll give him an extra...
identify.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need the performance upgrade. He can just chill. All right. It's all good. But here we are then for a final 5-lapper race. Same circuit, mostly the same drivers. Everybody's... at least who was in the last session is here again now. And they can now change their setup a little bit if they want to. They can go for less wings, if that's what they feel they need to do. If they feel there's maybe we need a little bit more suspension. But also notice, they also have the ability to move the ballast. That is something that they couldn't do in the F2s or the F1 cars, but they can do in these cars, which is pretty crucial because it might actually help you with rotation going through turn 1. Maybe even through that long right-hander coming onto the back straight. Or even if you find that S section particularly difficult, which is my weakest area for sure. Who are we going aboard with for the one-shot quali then?
I would like to be on board with Piloto Pyatt, see if he can recover a qualifying.
Where is it? Oh, I'm already on board with him. Perfect. Going through turn 1 then, he is very long and slow right-hander in then to turn 2. You want to get the exit just right. He's looking pretty slow in comparison to the other drivers. It looks like he's just struggling with that rear end. Aviator, currently our fastest driver. Max Thorne trying to take it to him. Remember, Beaker is hindered by the fact that he has got the F2000 car because he was a bit too slow to choose a car and ready up. But that's more us than him, I guess. Piloto Pilot still okay. Matt has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I'm not sure what he's up to. Dennis is in, and he's managed to get the F2004 car, so he's actually okay. There's Beaker who's in trouble more than anybody. Piloto Pilot in P7 on the back of Vegas and just chilling. It's weird to see how different the qualifying is so far.
Yeah, it's actually jarring. Almost obviously with Beaker in the F2000, that would obviously change his position, but we've got Max in first. He was in the second in the first one, so that makes sense. Dennis in the second, though, at the moment, so he's doing pretty well for himself. Aviator third, Asdia fourth. I believe Asdia started fairly far down in that first race, so maybe he can have a go for the win this time round. And then Vegas Viss, so Vegas could actually go for another podium if he feels like it.
Very likely that Max Thorne will be the first to cross the line, and he will bring himself into pole position. Just chilling. Actually getting disqualified for his lap there. He must have been validated somewhere, but just wanted to see what he could in fact do. But Max Thorne, not only was he looking fast in the first race, he seems to have figured out whatever it was and goes straight into the second race in pole position. Aviator P2, Dennis P3, Asia P4, Vegas P5, Piloto Pilot P6, Hunt Badger P7, Marquez P8 with Hardy in 9th. Carl gets 10th place with Tiger Jr. in 11th. Beaker in the much slower F2000 car is in 12th place. Burrito Bandito in 13th. Matt 14th as the first driver to DQ along with JC. And Raven Duck just somehow didn't get a time on the board.
I'm not quite sure how that's come around. Not disqualified, not DN. How's that?
He could have just retired. If he's crashed, and then that will be how he's done it. Oh, that weather doesn't look so good. I mean, it's not raining, that's for sure, but it is also not looking too pleasant. So it's pretty dark on the circuit. For any driver who decides to drive with a lower brightness than normal, because I know there are some corners where it is blinding and you can't see in the corners because of how bright that sun is. That is going to play havoc on them in a little while. But we are on the grid. We're looking to get started. And since you got 100% on the last one, what's your 100% prediction on this one?
Okay, well, I think this time I'm going to go with Max for the win, seeing as BK is a little bit nerfed for this race. For second and third, that's actually a pretty tough one, as I'm not even sure we have a formation lap.
No,
I think we're going straight away.
Yeah,
so
we needed
quickly,
to.
Aviator and Asia. That's my second and third.
All right, well, it's Max Thorne up in front. Aviator's going down the inside. This is going to be a beautiful move if you can make this work. Max Thorne's being hung out to dry. And Dennis is in there as well. A little bit of a nudge into the side of Max Thorne. He has always struggled on the first lap run, and he's actually having a problem here as well. Matt is being disqualified because he's... Oh, Max getting a little bit of a touch there from Dennis, and he's falling down now to P4 and 5 if Vegas has got his way about it. He's going round the outside. Oh, Vegas! Oh. What a send! His very last second decision, but he made it up to P3. What a leap forward there.
Yeah, and what a leap downwards from Max. P1 to P6. He has got a mission to be on. Now, as actually has been rotated by Vegas... So I think that's my 1, 2, 3 completely out the window now. But yeah, he's going to have to be a man on a mission now if he wants to get this win back.
Yeah, he really is. And there's a very close scrap. I mean, give credit to Beaker. He's in P9, even in this F2000 car. This is great stuff. And he's on the back of Just Chillin' and Carl. And I think... they may start to run away a little bit here, let's be honest. Oh, JC's on the grass. He's struggling to recover. Beaker is through. And the meme car himself, unintentionally the meme car, is actually doing really well. Oh, he's broke a bit late there, though. That is a bit of a lockup. He's had a bit of a nudge there from Just Chillin' as well, who's trying to play kiss catch, it looks like. And... this is fantastic. We need to do this more often. I love this. Max Thorne on Vegas. Here we go.
Yeah. And I believe Max has got the move done for now, but Vegas, of course, will now have the inside for this bit, which I personally believe is the more important place to have that inside line, because then you also get a better exit off of this next corner. But no, actually, Max has made it work from his line. Vegas a bit of a tank slap on the exit. Max moves up in third, but look at that gap, 3 seconds a second, and this time he's only got 4 laps, including this lap, to get the job done.
Carl just ran into the side of JC there and has been sprung off the circuit as a result of that contact. He's actually kept himself out of the wall and still running. Beaker, somehow, I don't know how he's doing this. This guy is awesome. I love this. Aviator still leading this Grand Prix. Dennis ran very off the circuit there, but he is still in the running for potentially even a race win here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's within that second. If Aviator makes a single mistake like he just did going on the curb a bit, that's cost him about 3/10. That could actually get Dennis in striking distance, because Dennis had a very decent exit. If he can stay in the tow, then even... I'm not sure about this lap, but definitely next lap, Dennis could have a go at him. They're actually pulling away from Max Thorne a bit. Over 3 seconds. It was a little under 3 seconds when Max overtook Vegas. So if these two keep it clean, I think this could be the battle for the win today. For this race, anyway, of course.
Yeah, for definite. I mean, obviously, we've not kept track between the points previously. This is Dennis slightly closing in on Aviator, considering where he was before. JC is on the back of Horn Badger. 9/10 back is how close he is. Polotopaya attacking Vegas. Max Thorne did recover quite nicely to get himself back into P3 and onto for a podium. But it is a 3-second gap between him and Dennis Vyers. There would need to be a lot of scrapping between Dennis and Aviator for Max to be able to pull this back, I feel. Yeah,
I think Max's only hope is if Dennis can get within that, I believe you said it's 3 to 4/10 striking distance, has a go at the hairpin, and then they both try and force each other off track or something along those lines. If something like that happens, Max will be right in the hunt, as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes. As Dennis is already within 4/10 coming into this corner before the back straight, very late on the brakes. That's got him right at the trough of Aviator. We could see the first go on lap 3. Dennis is seeming to have a better exit off this corner. As long as he doesn't lose the rear end, he doesn't. This is going to be a striking distance move on the straight. Aviator now chooses to go defensive. Dennis on the outside. Neither of them are going particularly quicker than the other. It's going to be a battle of the brakes. Dennis on the outside. Is he going to go for the better exit? Yes, he is. Initially gets it, but a little bit too much wheel spin off of the initial gears. Is he going to try and down the inside? No, he backs off. That's very, very wise of him. Keeps the battle going for later. He needs to be careful of those track limits. I believe that could be his second warning. So, as much as Dennis wants to win, he has to keep it clean. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it.
And Max Thorne, obviously, due to that battle that Aviator and Dennis had, has actually reeled in 6/10. On top of that, he also set the fastest lap of the race so far. So this is, Max Thorne really giving it the big one. He's properly pushing to close in. I don't think Vegas is going to be securing a second podium today, despite the fact that he's actually running pretty high and pretty well. It's just the fact that those three at the front have built up such a huge gap. Yeah, it's just kind of operation hold on and just see what happens.
Yeah. And with Vegas, it's also the thing of he's got Piloto right behind him, so he's got that battle to worry about before he worries about anything that happens in the top 3. Because of course, if there's a big crash in the top 3, then absolutely Vegas could go for the win. But obviously, Aviator and Dennis, I think, will be smart enough to realize that maybe we try and keep it clean. Maybe try and keep this battle for the win going. Speaking of, again, Dennis always closes up in this little section before the back straight. Ideally, in this case, the best place to catch up, and once again, we'll have the tow is within 1.5/10. So here we go. Will he go to the inside before Aviator? Yes, he does. That could give him just the line he needs. If he's later on the brakes now, it's almost certainly Dennis's place to keep. He does brake later, but look at Aviator's exit, just mastering what I think Dennis was trying to do last lap. And Aviator actually keeps the place now. And Dennis has just one more lap and effectively one more chance to get this done. It's actually sets the fastest lap, so he's
Beaker.
really going for this.
Sorry, Beaker and Marquez are in a bit of a battle. Beaker, in this much slower car, is actually doing work on people. That's how good he was earlier in that first session. Coming into this one, he is this is fantastic, can I just say? I think this is amazing. Just chilling and Hon Badger. We're having an admin face-off. It looks like Hon Badger. Oh, just chilling's made a mistake. They still fight in the rear. Hon Badger still in with a chance of holding on to this position as long as he gets the inside, which is exactly what he has. It has to be later on the brakes. Needs to keep that apex locked in and get the exit of Dreams through here. And I think JC might have this. It's a left-hander coming up for him. Yep, JC will hold on to P6 for now, but this is far from over. There is still a chance for Badger to get that back on that long back straight. This is going to be a close one. I can feel it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the lap where we really see the big guys coming in, because there's no more laps after this. There's no more race after this. After this, it's the next week, back to the F2s on the next track. So if anyone wants to make moves, now is the time. No more messing around. Go for it. Now there's a yellow flag. Someone may be pushing a bit too hard. As Dennis in Aviator slipstream again. Is he going to go for anything?
Oh, no!
And he goes in the back of him. And that's worst case scenario for Aviator. He's massively lost out there.
Vegas
Dennis
can get a podium.
Well, yeah, Vegas can't. Oh, I mean, he's a bit far back, but
yeah.
I mean, we can wish. We can wish.
Dennis, through dirty tactics, gets himself the race win. Max Thorn goes P2, Aviator goes P3, Vegas P4, Piloto right there on the back of a P5, JC P6, Hon Badger P7. You got Marquez, who's coming through the final corner in just a second in P8, and Beaker in the slower car will still score points in P9. That is fantastic. Carl comes to the line in P10. This is absolutely insane. Azia P12 now because of the penalty. Hardy gets best of the rest. Burrito Bandito, who will be a little bit further behind, will take P13. Oh, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. I mean, I know I said dirty tactics for Dennis, but realistically, it was Aviator that moved in the braking zone. Dennis got caught out by it. There was always going to be contact as a result. And yeah, I mean, I think Dennis is actually innocent in all that, realistically, but still, I mean, it's not being stewarded. It's just a celebratory race there for our Ferrari friends who are currently struggling in the real world F1. But this was amazing. We need to do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm honestly absolutely okay doing this like maybe every other weekend or something, because this is a great break for the F2 races.
Amazing. It is absolutely fantastic. Right, we do need to move over to the F1 stuff. We are slightly behind, so we may be delayed with the start. Bear with us, but we will be getting into the F1 race as quick as possible. See you shortly.